Hey everybody, this is the resident interviewer Misti-Dawn from the Manamal Streaming Radio, chit-chatting it up with Rick Ruhl from the band Every Mother's Nightmare. Thanks so much for joining me this evening, Rick. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for calling in. We're pretty excited about this. We all really love your music.
Well, thank you very much.
Sure. Now I want to get started right away. We know how busy you are, so let's go way back to the early 1990s when you started this band. How did you all
Okay.
meet? How did you all meet, and was it all instant chemistry?
Yeah, it was pretty much. Me and Jim were playing in two different bands, and we were wanting to play together. And they fired a singer, and I got fired, so we kind of just jumped together. But yeah, it was pretty much. You kind of when you get with a group of people, the chemistry's either there or it's not, and it was pretty. Right when we first started writing songs, we could tell it was going to go somewhere. So I would have to say yes.
That's great. I mean, had you known any of them prior to getting this started?
I think I knew Jim before, but the other two guys that I had when I first started, I didn't know them at all. I'd moved to Nashville in a 10 by 20 store all unit, and that's where I was living. So they kind of just all came around, and I kind of met them as I was living there.
That's awesome, though. What a great story. I mean, that's something that you can think about, like telling your grandchildren, how it all started. That's great.
That's right. Moved to Nashville with a sleeping bag and a guitar looking for a record deal.
There you go. And you succeeded, so that's just a great teaching tool for them in itself. Now, I want to jump right into the album Grind. Can you give me the lowdown on the songwriting and the production process?
The songwriting process, that starts out as usually somebody comes in with a guitar riff or whatever, but it's usually four or five of us in there just fighting and fighting for the parts and fighting for the best parts. And the recording process was a pretty different process for me this time because, back in the day when we recorded our first couple of records, you would get in a room and just mic everything up and play everything 1,000 times until you got a good one. Today's process is, you can fix stuff and you can start over and do. It's a whole different monster. But I love it. You can do so many different things now with the recording. Back in the day, it was pretty hard. You just had to get a right sound, and it had to be. Everything had to be perfect when you recorded. So the process of today is much cooler. Enjoy it much more.
Now, coming from the days of MTV where there was actual videos and stuff on there promoting everybody's albums, are you finding it difficult nowadays with what I would call digital promoting? Is it harder or is it easier than it would have been back then?
It's probably a little harder, but I think today with the internet, you're not kind of pigeonholed into a certain genre of music. Back in the day, whatever was current was whatever was playing on MTV and the radio. So that was you're kind of conformed into having to be, kind of something you're not. You had to be a ballad band or whatever you want to call it. We just like writing rock songs. Songs that mean something to us and something we live through. And I think it's much cooler today with the internet because there's so many great bands out there you can find. You just get on there and you can dig around and find hundreds and thousands of great bands. So it's a little harder, I would say, but I think it's more true to form now.
Now, this record for me is just awesome. Through the years, your sound's changed a bit, but you've managed to keep the integrity intact and you stayed true to old school EMN. And that's a hard thing to do. But evolving, like being able to bring the music out now when you have a different generation, are you being received well with the younger crowd?
I think, yeah, man, it's kind of the old crowd. When we do the show, shows, the old crowd's showing up and they're supportive, but there's a ton of new faces. You know, I think it's been welcomed. It's better than I expected, you know, because I figured we were going to come out and everybody thought, you know, we kind of jumped ship, but you know, you got to evolve a little bit, and you got to roll with the punches, I guess, and you know, you just got to keep doing what you do. You know, we're always going to be the songs that we write. We try not to write anything that's preconceived, or you know, it's pretty much something that's we've lived or it's close to one of us. You know. It's hard to explain it, but for the most part, I think it's been received well by the new crowd and the old crowd, and you know, we're happy as crud. And anywhere we play, you know, we've met so many new faces and ran into so many old friends that we've met over the years. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, that's awesome. I could just imagine how it must feel to go out on stage with a whole new generation coming out and supporting you, like we all did back in the day. You know, that's great.
It's really kind of neat, you know, to see the new people. You know, they're just like, you know, they don't even know. A lot of them don't even know about the old records, you know, until they start digging into it. And it's kind of neat, you know, when they start figuring out how long we've been doing this. It's pretty cool.
Now, it's really hard to pick a favorite song off of this album because they're all amazing. But if I had to pick, I would definitely go with "Blown Away." What is your personal favorite, or the song you think captures the essence of the band off of this album?
Well, I think probably my two favorite ones off the record is my number one favorite is "Blown Away" because you know, that was the whole concept of the song was me and my best friend before he died. You know, he was pretty much stricken to just sitting in his house looking out the window, and that's just kind of the stuff that he was telling me about one day. Was just all he does is sit and look out the window and stuff like that. So the song just popped in my head, and I got to write it, and he got to hear it before he passed away. So I would say that one probably sums up the band at its best and what we are. You know, it's true to life. It's just gut rock and roll.
That's yeah, I didn't know that was what that song was about, and that just makes it all the more special. Now, I have to say, the toxic green color of this vinyl is awesome. Great choice.
That's EMN green.
Oh, yeah. Now, when I was digging around researching, I saw that you've been in many, many, many magazines, and that has to feel pretty awesome when somebody contacts you from a well-known source. You know, you're doing something right. Who are some of the bigger magazines that you've been in?
Man, I've done a little bit of everything. You know, I've been as far as I've been to Playboy and done their TV shows, and I've been just about every magazine that I can think of that we've done something in. So, you know, it's pretty flattering for even somebody to even want to talk to. You know, I'm just a redneck from Tennessee, you know, just play songs. So I'm flattered if it's any kind of magazine or any kind of anything that wants to know about the band or know about us. So, but I would have to say that probably my biggest thing I've done was probably Playboy.
Wow, I did not know that one. We'll have to look for that. Now, I also read that when you first came out in the early 90s, you caught the eye of Clive Davis and Arista Records. How amazing was that feeling?
Oh, man, you know, Clive Davis, he's had his hands on some pretty serious people. You know, he's been involved with Janis Joplin and Aerosmith and everybody, you know, Whitney Houston. And he contacted us wanting to come see us play, and he came down and we played for him, and he was really excited about the band. And he took my cowboy boots that I'd been wearing for probably 5 years. They had holes in them and guitar strings holding them together, and he took them and put them on his desk, and you know, he kept them on his desk for about a year or so. So it was real, you know, that was a big moment, you know, just for somebody that's his caliber to even, you know, come and take time to talk to us. So pretty big moment in my life.
I can imagine that would be pretty impressive. I would have felt like, wow, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there talking to Clive Davis, pretty nifty.
Now, anyone who has ever watched Headbangers Ball on MTV back in the day would remember your songs. Walls Come Down, Love Can Make You Blind, and House of Pain. They all rock. And now you guys are currently with High Volume Records these days, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
They're behind a lot of really great bands. How did that all come about?
Man, Bill Chavis is probably I would have to say one of the top three music people that I ever met that, you know, that I didn't feel like was a snake or something. He's just a good guy. I met him a long time ago, and we were trying to work together, and we both had things going on where we couldn't. But when I was doing, when I first recorded Grind, it was just a 5-song EP, and we were just playing around and selling it out of the trunk of my car, you know. And a mutual friend of ours come and seen us in Houston, Texas. And he just kind of hooked me and Bill up. He called Bill and asked if he had heard what we were doing, and that just led to me and Bill calling each other and reacquainting ourselves, you know. And we were good friends from long ago. And man, he just clicked. I sent him the record, and he called me back and just said, "Man, let's do a whole record." And so I went and recorded 3 or 4 more songs, and then I threw a couple of live songs on there, and just for the kicker, I threw three videos on there, just you know, just for the people that hung around for all these years and stood behind us. You know, just threw as much stuff as I could get on the record was what I could get away with.
Understood there. Now, there was quite a few years between your last 2 albums. If it's not too personal, was there a particular reason for that?
Well, you know, there was a pretty extensive drug problem I went through there for a minute. I had to get my crap back together, and I finally kicked all of my demons that I had. And music was in a really weird spot at that point in time. It was really hard to even do anything as a rock band, you know, back in that little stint there. And then, I did a record with Paris Records, and that right there was pretty much coming, which we just re-released it. It's called, the album's called Smoking Delta Voodoo. And that was pretty much me coming out of my drug haze and getting back to the real world and kind of just figuring out what was going on and getting my crap back together. And, yeah, you know, just, you know, then I found some people that I wanted to play with again, and, you know, because I broke the band down, and, you know, just had to kind of start over and reevaluate where I was at, and, you know, take care of my kids and do all that stuff. And, you know, I got it worked out, and here we are.
That's great. Good for you, though. That's very inspiring, and I hope people can, you know, listen to this and realize that, you know, there is a silver lining if you just grab for it, you know?
Yeah, you got to get what I did figure out that was probably my darkest time. I figured out, you know, if you keep your eye on the prize and be true to what you do, man, everything will work out. And you know, it did, and I'm in a much better spot today because I just kept to my guns, and you know, I had to get my shit together and get clean, and that's what I had to do. You know. Right.
Now, I'm pretty stoked about the re-release of Smoking Delta Voodoo. That album, for me, just kicks major ass. What made you decide?
You know what's crazy about that was we were shooting a video for that video. We were shooting the Delta Voodoo video a couple of months back, and we were sitting there, and they were playing the playback, and we were really having to listen to it because I hadn't realized that we recorded that record 17 years ago. And I just, you know, it was. I love every song on there. That record has more probably meaning to me than anything because, like I said, I was coming out of a drug haze, and I was coming back to the real world, and the songs were just popping in my head. You know, pretty much each one of them is about, you know, coming clean. You know, and it was this. It's probably. The best writing that, you know, I won't say it's my best performance ever because I was still coming out of a situation, but as far as the songs go, I think every song on there is very
Now, is it available yet?
Yeah, I think it is available on HighVol right now. Yeah.
Okay, good. We'll make sure we get that noted whenever we post this. Now, if anybody would like to buy your albums, where could they go to do so?
Well, you can go to the website, which is emnrocks.com, or you can go to the Facebook page, and that will take you to pretty much anywhere where you can get it, or you can go straight to HighVol Records and get it, or it's anywhere you download the music, you can get it these days. So it's out there everywhere.
Okay. Now, I always like to add in some fan questions, so I have a few here for you.
Okay.
Annalise would like to know if you're married and if you have children.
Well, I have 2 children, and I'm not married, but I've been with the same girl for going on 22 years, and she's put up with a lot of crap from me, and she's kept me alive. So I'm not married, but I don't know when that's going to happen, but that's where I'm at this point.
All right. Now, Rick would like to know if it was hard getting things going after the long break, or was it just like riding a bike?
As far as playing and writing, man, that fell right into place. I think the first rehearsal we had, we went through like 4 songs off the very first record, and we stopped right there and started we said, let's write a record. We had the chemistry between the band that I had then with me and Troy and Gunner and Lonnie. We started writing immediately. So the hardest thing was, breaking back in, when we got the record done was, a lot of people thought we were dead, and a lot of people thought we were gone and this and that. But, for the most part, I've kept the band together the whole time, except for maybe 1 year that I split the band up. So it wasn't very hard, but it's just a different time. I'm enjoying it though. It's neat playing. We've been playing a bunch of big events and a bunch of very cool things that we never do. I'm getting to go to Europe this year, so it's been very cool. It's very very surprising. The I don't know what you would call it. The people let us back in, just like we were their lost dogs to come home or something.
Right.
So it's pretty neat. I'm enjoying it. I'm really digging playing the bands. I love the guys that I'm playing with. Everybody's gets along, and everybody's got their eye on the prize, trying to do the same thing. So it's a beautiful world at this point.
Certainly is. Now, Randy would like to know why they call you Reverend Rick Ruhl.
Well, that came about because I used to come into the practice room, and I would stand on my little soapbox and bitch for about an hour and what we got to do and what we're going to do and what this and that. So, they just started calling me the Reverend. They said I would come in and start preaching for an hour. So they kind of just stuck, and so we wrote the Upper Hand song, and it's kind of a little bit of I am the Reverend Ruhl, and it just popped in there. So it's just my alter ego, I guess.
Now, I see you do have some shows coming up. Are there any you can tell our listeners about?
I tell you what, I got a handful of shows yesterday, and I haven't even got to log them into my brain yet to see what they are. But I know we got some good shows coming up that I'm looking very forward to, and I know we got we got some the Whiskey A Go Go show coming up in I think in November in Hollywood. So I'm looking forward to all that. I'm looking forward to anywhere I can play where people come out and hang out and let their guard down and just see what we're about and have a good time. Listen to me, bitch.
That's okay. I do that a lot too. My son would tell you that. Now, what's been your favorite venue to play?
Oh God, that's a tough one. I think so far I had a really good time playing we played the 80s in the Park down in Florida this summer, at the beginning of this summer, and that was really, really cool. Let's see, and we played the M3 Festival, and that was very cool. We played New York about 2 months ago, and that was cool. All of them are cool, man. this is the best job in the world. You can go out and play, and you got people come and hang out with you, and listen to the songs, and just hang out. The best part of the evening for me is we always go out to our merch booth and just hang out and try to talk to everybody we can, because people spend their hard-earned money to come see us play and buy records and stuff. So we try to go out and meet and talk to as many folks as we possibly can. So far, anywhere I've played has been great.
Well, that's awesome, and that's great.
A definite one.
That's great that you do that with your fans. I wish a lot more would do that. Like you said, it's people's hard-earned money, and they're spending it because they obviously have that affection for a band, and for them to just kind of like blow them off. Yeah.
Well, I've met a lot of bands that that don't, and then they bitch about it and this and that. But I'm like, man, you know what? That $10 or $12 or whatever they spend on a record, or $20 for a T-shirt or whatever that stuff costs, man. That's hard to come by, man. I've been down in the dumps, and I know how hard $20 and $30 is hard to come up with to go see a band. So we appreciate anybody that comes, and if they want to hang out at the end of the night, well, we hang out and try to talk to everybody. That's only fair, I think.
Absolutely. Now, if you could bring back one musician to collaborate with, who would it be and why?
Oh man. Wow, that's a tough one. Man, I would have to say I would like to do. I would love to been able to play something with Stevie Ray Vaughan. I think that would have been very cool to do something on the Austin blues like he played. I think that would have been very cool. Tons of musicians I would love to play with, though. But I would have to say just for the style he was and how left field he was, I would have to go with Stevie Ray.
Awesome. That's a good choice. Now, I always have some off-the-wall questions. I ask mainly because I like hearing crazy rock stories. So what was your craziest fan meeting moment?
Oh, man, I think probably the craziest, weirdest one was one day, I think don't take this for gospel, but I think to say we were somewhere around Boston or something, but we were out during Christmas, and we got to go. No, it was Baltimore. We were in Baltimore, and we got to go to somebody's house for Christmas dinner, and I'm sure their parents were excited that we were all coming. But it was. We got to pull the bus up to somebody's house and go in and have Christmas dinner and hang out for the day with them, and it was pretty different,
That's amazing.
It was definitely a top 5 on the oh shit meter.
That's amazing. Wow. I like that. What's the most rock star thing you've ever done?
Oh, man, I think going to, I think when they turned me loose with a microphone at the farmer's market for the Metalhead videos was pretty rock starish, because I was just a fool running around with a microphone talking to people. Like, I think I talked to some people from that just got off The Price is Right and some other things. But yeah, that was probably it. It was pretty crazy.
Now, if I was to look at your Spotify playlist, who would be your recent top 3?
Oh man, I'd have to say all 3 of them would have to be Hell Yeah. That's my band right now. I love those guys. I like where they're at, what they write about, and I don't know. That's just right now. I'm one of those people. I fall into something and I'll burn it to the ground. I'll play it till it's dead. So that's what I've been into here for the last couple of months.
Awesome. I'm going to have to check them out. I'm not 100% aware of those guys.
Oh, yeah. It's very good. It's very good.
Well,
of course, Alice Cooper I have to listen to, because that's my all-time hero, I guess.
I saw him for the very first time at Cruise Final Tour, and I hate to say it, but I was never really a huge fan, but after that show, I definitely was.
Right.
He's amazing.
Well, I seen the first time I saw Cooper I was 7, and I seen the Welcome to My Nightmare tour, and it was the big stage, the whole stage set up, and it was just crazy,
That's awesome.
That's kind of what made me get going, and when I left there, I knew what I
Good deal. Is there anything else you'd like to share with your fans and our listeners that we may not have covered today?
Man, I would just like to say that we appreciate everyone that comes out to see us and everybody that, contacts us on Facebook and follows us and helps us. There's the coolest people in the world. We go, like I said, we just went to New York, and some people that I think we've seen every time we've ever played since our very first show in New York, they've been there. They bring us food, they feed us, and we just appreciate all of the fans, whether you like us or not, if you come, we appreciate, and we try to show you what we're about, and maybe leave there knowing a little something different, maybe a different point of view on some crud or this and that, But that's what, we're fans of number one in our book.
Awesome. Well, Rick, thank you so much for taking time out of your crazy schedule to sit down and talk with us here at the Manamal. It's definitely been.
We finally got to do it.
Yeah, well, that's okay. It's done now. For all of our listeners out there, be sure to check out Every Mother's Nightmare's latest album, Grind, and